What do you think the future of education and the job environment will be, considering how disruptive tech is?
It is interesting because the education system is not evolving fast enough to be on the same level with where the world is going or with how fast the world is changing. If you and I, we know when ChatGPT, the OpenAI application ChatGPT was released, many universities and many education entities ban the use of ChatGPT in their schools, and it blew my mind. I was thinking to myself, education in the right sense of it, innovation should be coming from the education system, because of course we are here to train people for the future, for the world out there.
Yeah.
But sadly, most innovations are coming from outside. And when they're trying to penetrate the education system, what do? They block it. Like, we don't want it here. We are okay with the way things are. We want to maintain the status quo, which is dangerous now. So when you look at that type of approach to innovation, that type of approach to progress as a society or as an education system, we tend to wonder, what type of future leaders are we raising or are we training? How are you going to train a kid in school that you have decided they're not going to use any of these AI tools?
Yeah.
You are training them for the world that is using AI tool.
Yeah.
You're training them for an economy that is powered by artificial intelligence. But you are saying, no AI in my classroom. You're not using any AI tool to do your homework. You're not using any AI tool to learn. You're not using any AI tool. But then you train these people and you throw them into the world of work and they're like, you get what I'm saying? Because how are they going to be able to integrate in the world of work that is completely powered by artificial intelligence when they are not exposed to artificial intelligence in a classroom? So those are key questions that the education system needs to start asking. Are we training these children for the world that existed 10 years ago? Or are we training these children for the world that is coming in 5 to 10 years?
I'm imagining schools that when calculators were created would be against a calculator and say, no, you can't use this. You're like, but it's meant to help us solve these problems. And I remember when I was at university, Wikipedia was greatly frowned upon, to a point where we found a cheat, at least with Wikipedia. Because what Wikipedia does, it obviously puts references of links at the bottom. So you go on Wikipedia, find whatever you find, and then try and look at the links on the bottom and then reference those, because those pass. The argument I could imagine from the schooling system, I hate calling it the education system because it's just school and a lot of the education is kept out.
I love that.
Is if we give these kids ChatGPT, if we give them Wikipedia, if we allow them to use Meta AI and ask questions, they're never going to be able to think for themselves. They're never going to be able to research for themselves. They're going to look for shortcuts. You're coming with the problem of you guys are going to get left behind. And this is why Elon Musk and others are creating alternative schools. This is why we've got such high graduate unemployment, such high, even children with matric unemployment. And they tell you, this is the problem though. We're worried that if we give kids the calculator, they're not going to understand long division or how these things actually work. They'll just punch numbers in. Yes, in the real world, that's done. But the assumption is that the people in the real world got that foundation. What would your counter argument be to them?
Good that you're bringing the calculator analogy, because, I mean, when you read back in history, when it came up, people stood against it. They said it's going to make people lazy, right?
Still holding on to the abacus.
Yes, they stood against it. And you mentioning that you don't like calling it the education system. Chapter 9 of my book literally speaks to that. I speak on chapter 9 of my book is that schooling is not education. Schooling can happen without education, and education can happen without school.
100%.
So the two, when you put it in the same sentence, it kind of sound like it's the same thing, but it's not. Back to the calculator analogy, people fought against that we should not introduce this. It's going to make people lazy. It's going to make people do. But no, it's a tool. So my counter argument when it comes to artificial intelligence or any of the technology is that it is a tool. You need to learn how to use the tool to become more effective. A car is a tool. A bicycle is a tool. all of these new technologies, I know when we speak of technology, we only think of like maybe AI now, but a car is a technology that came at some point, Electricity is technology that was developed at some point.
Even the calculator.
Exactly. It was a technology and in its own time. So these are all tools that are being given to, or humanity is producing to assist us humans to become more effective and more efficient. So the question then becomes, will you rather walk from here to Santon or will you drive?
Yeah.
Does driving to Santon makes you lazy? The person who walks to Santon, is it then more effective, more hardworking, and all of that? Yeah. So we only have 24 hours in a day. Each and every one of us, we have 24 hours in a day. If there's a tool that can make you be more productive in that 24 hours, why not use it?
Yeah.
Why look at it as the enemy? Again, when you look at, if there's one thing ChatGPT, a tool like ChatGPT has taught us, clearly critical thinking has not been taken out of the equation. Because the more effective and efficient you phrase your questions, the better answers you get out of the system.
Yeah.
So if you are lazy to think, to prompt the system properly, you will get lazy answers out of it. Sure. So at the end of the day, it didn't diminish your thinking in any way. It's just that you, with your poor thinking, you haven't worked on thinking critically and asking, questions in a way that gives you exactly what you're asking. That's how we're seeing some of the horrible content out there, because these people don't know how to ask or how to prompt these AI systems properly. So for me, I think that critical thinking is still very key, because if you can ask good questions, you have a powerful tool, an assistant that helps you get to where you're supposed to be faster, cheaper, and better.